Hello and welcome. It's time. It's time we get started with your friend, the one and only. There are many like me, but only I am yours. My name's Danotaj, and we're going to play some video games today. No, we're not going to play video games. Video games are for, like, you know, streamers who play video games. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about video games. Wait, no. We're not even going to talk about video games. What are we doing here? We're going to talk about... we're going to talk about everything around what it is to be a professional, a broadcaster, a content creator, a liver of the arts. Is that a word? A liver? Yeah, I guess so, huh? Uh-oh. 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 Camera's not working. Hold on, one sec. See if that works. What's up, Solifist? How are you? There it is. Am I saying that name properly? Solificist? Solifistist? Solificist. Hello. Hi, how are you? Hi, everybody. The topic sounds much more exciting. Good choice. What, video games? Or what? What are we talking about today, guys? Welcome. Welcome to the show. It is roughly 6:20 Eastern. Actually, it's exactly 6:20 Eastern. And we're here gonna jam out some good stuff. Solipsist. 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 Sol. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It is Dan's Stream of Thought. We're here live every Tuesday afternoon, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Yeehaw, baby. Hi, everybody. Or the evolution of a channel. Yeah, we're going to talk about the evolution of your channel and your career if you choose to do so. Remember that nothing you do on this platform has to be a job, has to be a career. You don't have to make any money. You don't have to do anything. In fact, there's going to be a part of... We're going to bring something up at the beginning of the show because it was brought up in my stream. And I think it's an interesting topic. I think that there's a lot of discourse around it. But it's philosophical, and I think it's something we can definitely talk about. But one of the things that we are going to do, definitely, is we're going to chat a little bit about you all. So hi, everybody. How are you? Talk to me. How was your week? How's your week? I know that we have, 2 shows off the air right now on hiatus. Making money some last millennium? You mean like before the millennials? Because millennials don't make money? Yeah, that's probably true. Hi, Kumatori. How are you? How's your guys' week? How did it go? How was it? What did you guys get up to? Have we talked since Comic-Con? Have we spoken since Comic-Con? Did I tell you about this thing here? This lovely water jug that I have now that I keep on me at all times. So there's a lot of things that have kind of happened over the last week, and it's not like, you know, not too big things, not too little things, but there's been a lot of conversation around streamers, not necessarily in the public. I think it's been a pretty average to below average conversation in the public, like on Twitter and social medias and stuff like that, through Discords and whatnot. But throughout a lot of my peers, and I think a lot of their peers, and amongst them and amongst them and amongst them, on layers and layers outside, like an onion. Weekend was too short. Dude, it's been so hot. It's been so hot that this whole thing has flashed by, which is why I'm kind of like, I'm trying to break down in my head exactly what's happened so that I can remember, because it's been so hot that I've been trying to actually like get the days to like pass. So basically I've been working through them and stuff. Been working through them and making sure that everything's happening in a way that may or may not make sense to a lot of people. To even myself. But the big thing is like, so we have a few things. We have a few things that we'll probably chat about today. It'll mostly be about evolution. I want to talk to you all about what it is that, well, it might not be today. We'll probably talk about it next time. But if you do have things that we could talk about, what is it that you want for your evolution? Not that everybody can just call what their evolution is going to be, because, well, evolution doesn't really happen by choice, right? Evolution, by many ways, even in nature, it is survival of the fittest. And in your careers, in your streams, it will be survival of the fittest in the sense of what actually works for your channel and what survives. Now, the only thing that's different with that versus nature is you kind of get to choose. You get to choose what you decide to keep, whether or not it works or not, right? Because the big thing for choice and evolution is that you don't really get to say, hey, I'm going to choose the right things that help me evolve. Now, evolution can go in a negative way, right? Evolution can go backwards for many reasons, and saying like, hey, I really just want to play this game, or I really want to get into this category, but I don't actually belong there. But maybe you don't think you don't belong there, or maybe you don't think that, I mean, you know, it's different. And what I mean by belonging is essentially whether or not I can bring in a audience that may or may not want to watch that very saturated game, what have you. That would be devolution. Devolution? De-evolution? De-evolution is not a word, so no. It would be evolution. Okay. So, and the reason it's evolution is because no matter what, you're always moving towards something, right? You're never moving backwards in something, because that's not possible. Not really, right? We can't go backwards in time. Thus, we cannot go backwards in evolution. It's an evolution, and it may be degrading, but it is an evolution. That's important to understand, too. It's important to understand, especially even with streaming and even with your careers, because even if you evolve backwards, you're still coming in with more knowledge, even if you're not using it or not utilizing it in the way that might make sense. You're still coming in with more knowledge that you had before, right? Nobody really forgets everything that they learned 6 months ago, unless you have, you know, an actual brain trauma or something like that, which you can't help, right? It's just what happens. I started with Hearthstone, got known for Dark Souls. Now I'm currently riffing off Yakuza 0. I'm all over the place. That's see, that is something that's part of that's probably the topic that we'll cover with identity. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where that might fit. Yeah, that's probably, well, we talked about identity before, and that game selection and being a part of a community is definitely part of identity for sure. So taking that and actually like shaping it to be kind of what you want and something like that, because in the end you sort of have to think about what is it that you actually want to have happen to your channel and to your career and to, I mean, anything that happens within your life, right? You get to choose some of these things, and back to the part I was talking about before, which is evolution in this context is strange because there's no nature necessarily taking its course unless you're actually forced to do something, which in most cases, especially when you're making art, we were talking about that earlier, when you're making art, especially here on Twitch or anywhere, you get to kind of do whatever the heck you want, right? Right? You get to do whatever you want. And that's the true piece of being an artist, is you get to do that, because it can be argued that streaming and content creation isn't art because you go through a formula that that you've seen to work and you've kind of treated as a science, but in a way that science can be treated as art too, right? Because I mean, we've all seen Breaking Bad, right? We've seen that very much does Walter White treat his chemistry as art, and people see his product as art, and stuff like that. That's basically how a lot of artists here on Twitch kind of do it that way. Is we see these things shape and come out and have meaning and heart and something that we notice when people don't put heart into their stream. We notice when people don't work hard on their stream. We notice when things are actually taken easy, because in most of the time it's not the people that are ridiculed for not working hard on their stream. It's usually the opposite. It's usually those that don't get noticed that are actually the ones that aren't really working that hard. Now there's many different understandings of what exactly it means to be an artist and what it means to evolve into something. But here's the kicker. Right now, we're noticing this heavily. If you're not evolving and you're not looking to move forward, no matter what that means to you or what that means to most or what that means to anybody, you sort of you put yourself in a hole that it becomes harder and harder to dig yourself out of, because there are people out there that do really like the consistency of something that is the same every single day. Does that help anybody? I don't know. Does it help you? I don't know. Does it give you false hope? Possibly. It's like, oh man, like, dude, I don't want to change anything because I know if I change something or if I try to grow in some way, I have a good feeling that there's a lot of people that are not going to like it because people don't like change. And there's a lot of people that are afraid of change in twofold, right? So people are afraid of change because it's something different that they have to get used to. That's the pretty average way to look at how people like and don't like change, right? But then from a content creation standpoint, we see a lot of things happen where streamers don't like change because they're afraid that their viewers and their community will not like said change. And that's a double fold on top of that. It's a double fold of like, how do I see something that I cannot control that I am attempting to control, right? You can't really control how your community perceives you wanting to grow and change and do something. You can't really perceive that. Not until it actually happens. And even then, sometimes, whether somebody likes something or not, and they do or do not show up and are supporting said content, like there's so many different reasons why that doesn't happen anymore that it's very difficult to tell. But here's the thing. As we go on, as we learn more about this industry and as we understand professionalism a little bit better, we understand that the more and more you don't grow and don't change, the more stagnated you become and the more set in a way that you become. And, you know, we don't really understand whether that's good or bad. Not quite yet, because there's a lot of people that really do well. There's a lot of people that don't do well. It's the sample size isn't big enough yet. And unfortunately, the sample size isn't going to be big enough for at least another 4 or 5 years. And we don't even know if streaming and content creation in this fashion will be around for that long. I'm not saying like I have insider information that's all going to go away. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that we live in a world that's so unpredictable, especially within this realm, that we don't necessarily understand what's going to happen next. We have a good idea. We have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen over the next 2 or 3 years. But within that idea is a lot of different variables and a lot of different things that will and may not change. One of the things that we'll have to get used to is there will be more and more streamers that come in. There will be more and more viewers that come in. There will be more and more streamers that leave. There will be more and more viewers that leave. It goes both ways. Right now, so one of the biggest things that we've noticed over the past probably 6 months is that there are a lot of... So we had our first lull or dip in overall viewership on Twitch. What does that mean? It means a couple different things. One, it means that Twitch viewership got to a point where it was big enough to where there's no way it could have sustained that what it had going for as long as it did, and it's going to go back to a somewhat medium way, or somewhat earlier, year ago, 2 years ago, 6 months ago, 4 months ago, type number. And then, who knows, it might go back up. Keep in mind that that number came out around the slowest part of the gaming release year. And when you have such a big year beforehand, and you have a bunch of games that are not coming out yet, well, I'd be willing to bet that that was going to happen no matter what. Whether or not that this year could or may not be the biggest year that Twitch has ever had. That's still very possible. We still haven't hit the most popular part of the year. That doesn't mean that that will happen either. Just means that there's a possibility. Fortnite was a big boon to Twitch, but we cannot ignore the fact that Fortnite was a big boon to the gaming industry as a whole. There were people that have never played video games playing Fortnite. There were people that never even knew what Twitch was until Fortnite that found Twitch. And if they're not watching Fortnite anymore, who's to say that they actually care about Twitch? They just cared about Fortnite. Now, I guarantee that there were a lot of people that were, let's say, transformed into Twitch viewers via Fortnite, but there's probably a large percentage of people that were not transformed and were just watching just because they wanted to watch Fortnite. That's very, very, very possible. I know there's lots of streamers out there doing very well, but there's also, right now, lots of streamers that have just stopped streaming. This is probably one of the biggest pieces of that's happened in a long time too. Not only is viewership going away, but content creation is going away in a larger amount than many other people. So that is the evolution of the world around you. So to understand that is to understand to understand your evolution is to understand the world's evolution. And it helps you make that decision as to how you want to evolve your channel and your career. Or if you even want it to be a career, who knows? Who knows? Right now, if you asked me, hey, should I quit my job to continue streaming? First of all, the answer would probably never be yes, right? Unless you were actually making a ton of money per hour, per minute, streaming right now part-time. Then I'd say maybe give it a shot, but at the same time, even that, I probably wouldn't recommend. The only reason I ever went full-time streaming was because I had the ability to, because I was doing a bunch of freelance work. I was writing books. I was doing film work. I was doing freelance writing. I was doing all kinds of stuff. But they never required a schedule of me, right? I still the same thing today, right? I still do a bunch of freelance work that has nothing to do with streaming, and sometimes it does. Right now, actually, it has become more of that. It's become more of things focused around streaming and streamers, which is nice, and I do enjoy that. But, you know, I have the ability to, so I was a little lucky to do so. But does that mean I should have done it if I had a job that required me to be 9 to 5 or something like that? Probably not. But then again, like, who knows? Everything changes. It's not binary. It's about, yeah. No, none of this is binary. This is all, like, that's kind of, and we know this is part of the show. Nothing we talk about is binary. Nothing we talk about is black or white. Nothing we talk about is black and white. Everything is right in the middle. It's 0 through 1 million with all different options in between. I think Make Laffy Taffy has a good balance with regarding variety in one game. He plays one game during the week for 5 hours, and then he switches to a new game, and then on Saturdays does a story-based game. Sure. There's all kinds of ways to do stuff like that. I think there was a question earlier in the sense of, do we think that variety streaming is going away? I don't think anybody's thinking that, no. In fact, variety streaming is kind of still the most successful of any type of streaming out there. It is and more than likely always will be, because you want something, you want to cultivate a community that, and then often you want to cultivate a community that already exists, like using Destiny or League of Legends or whatever. But in the end, the only reason you would make a career out of something, or the only reason that you would that people would like to watch you instead of somebody else doing the same exact thing, is because they like you. And liking you directly transforms over to being able to be a variety broadcaster. And of course, there are many people that will only watch one game. Of course, 100%. That will never change. But if they like you, there's a great chance that they'll come with you with whatever you do. And that's important. That's important to understand. It's important to understand. So, with that being said, what does the evolution of a channel look like? Well, sometimes it's branching out of, maybe sometimes it's starting with one community like we were talking about, and then starting to branch off into, hey, now I'm going to start playing different things. Sometimes your viewership goes down, sometimes your whole subscriber count goes down for a little bit. But in the end, the people that stick around and continue to make your stream great, they stick around and they continue that, and then people get to learn a little bit more about who you are, and then once they understand that, it snowballs, or it doesn't. Depends. It depends on your quality of your stream, because we are now in a world, because of how many streamers do exist on this platform, and all platforms for that matter, we do live in a world where quality will almost always surpass quantity. That was not the case before. Probably about 3 years ago, 3 to 4 years ago, the case was who was there, who can I watch, and who can I watch every day, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, and know that they'll be there at that time whenever. That's kind of what it was focused on. Who can I rely on? Right now, it still has a lot to do with who can I rely on, but also it's not just who can I rely on, but who can I rely on and also find very entertaining, because there's lots of other things out there. So why would I settle for something that's not good, right? And there's some people that don't necessarily look at others and compare qualities, or there's some that just naturally do so without even knowing, right? Some may not notice, some may not understand, some may not even think about it. We also have to look at, again, the evolution of your content and the things around you, and how people see content. Because an evolution, like I said, can go many different ways. For me personally, my evolution kind of started with understanding that maybe I don't want to play the same game all the time, or maybe I do want to play something for a while. Maybe that's my evolution. Maybe my evolution, instead of jumping all over the place and playing whatever I want whenever I want, is to maybe play whatever I want for a while, and understanding that, and then possibly moving on to something a little bit later, once people got a chance to catch on and understand who exactly I was. I'm not saying that's what I did, I'm just saying that's possible. That's a possible evolution both ways. If you decide to make it a career, what exactly provides a career? Let's start from the beginning. What defines your success? Because if you're going to evolve to something, if you're going to make a career out of something, you considering most of these things start as a hobby, you have to find a success somewhere. So you have to define what that success might be. Does anybody have any suggestions as to what they'd see as successful within their stream? People that stick around are the viewers? Yes. Anyone who's... Yes. Yes. Feel like viewers and followers are more than themselves? How can you be more than yourself? I feel like an audience has the voice and power to dictate a streamer's content and thoughts. Okay. I don't necessarily believe that. I don't think anybody that streams for any more than amount of time believes that either. 10 plus active chatters. Actually, I'll take 5 plus active chatters. Sure. So is that something that you can carry with for the rest of your career as successful, or is that a number that might evolve later? 1 plus active chatter, sure. Interactive chatters, interactive, active, they're different, sure. Kind of a loaded question. Can success, because success can mean something different to everyone. That's why I'm asking. It's not really loaded. I'm asking you. I'm not loaded would mean that I'm expecting a specific answer, which I'm not. I'm expecting nothing. I want to know what you guys think. What are some suggestions you might have for success? I'm not going to tell you whether you're right or wrong, because there is no right or wrong. But asking the question and having you answer that means that you're telling yourself you have something in mind, right? How you doing, Great Squirrel Army? Why can't viewer have the choice, have the voice, have their own thoughts and opinions on streamers? Nobody said they couldn't. What do you mean? I feel like most of the time viewers are treated like sheeps. Okay. I don't know where that's coming from, unfortunately. Would you be able to expand on that, maybe? Because I don't think I understand that. Treated like sheep? Well, treated like sheep says that that I'm hurting you into doing something that you don't want to do, when you don't have to do. Nobody's forcing anybody to do something. I feel like that would depend on who you watch. Yeah, probably. The old thought, I do what I want, is my thought exactly. Okay. Having someone join my stream and then telling me to play Fortnite, I don't like Fortnite, for one. And 2, you shouldn't tell a streamer what you want while they're in the middle of a game already. Here's the thing, though. Here, let's take a helicopter view on this, right? Let's fly up in the air and let's look down at something that may or may not be yourself and understand that the world is bigger than yourself. Let's just take that for example. Let's take that let's look at this from a much larger point. And let's say that let's pretend that there is no ban or timeout button. Let's pretend that you cannot time people out of a channel. And a viewer is allowed to watch any channel that they want, and a streamer is allowed to see all the chat that happens in their chat. Let's just pretend that. No matter what in all of that, you have control over what you do in response to anything that happens. You have ultimate control over what you do in response to anything that happens. A person saying something in a chat has the full choice to say whatever they want. Okay? So let's bring it back to somebody telling somebody what to play. What happens? What happens if that chat message goes ignored? What happens if it goes ignored? Well, honestly, what happens? Like, give me an answer. I would love this is not a rhetorical question. I would love an answer. What happens if that chat message gets ignored? Usually, what happens? They would get angry? Maybe. What else? A mad mob of one person? A riot of one person? They leave chat? Most likely that's the case. What else? People's feelings get hurt? Yeah, often. Yeah, sure. Chat turns on them. It's one person. We're talking about one person saying this. If one person were to come in and say that, chat turns on them. Oh, no. Hold on. Sorry. You mean chat turns on the person saying that? Yeah. Okay. Another option that I've seen happen. I've seen all these things happen, by the way. These are all valid responses because I've seen them all happen. Granted, just because I've seen it doesn't make it valid, but I know for a fact that they're valid. I say they would either leave or start spamming chat. Sure. Options. Yeah. Sure. Seen that too. I've seen spamming chat happen. Yeah. Well, so here's the thing. All of those things can happen. Are any of them morally wrong? Are any of those things morally wrong? I mean, honestly. Are any of those things morally wrong? Yes. Y or N? Y or N in chat? Y or N in chat? Morally wrong. It's a hard question. Is it? Morally. As in, it affects the world around you in a positive or negative light that you cannot control. Followed a couple of streamers from when they had 5 viewers to where they have 3,000 now. Must be nice. I'm kidding. I'm joking. Sometimes I'm sad they don't respond, but I'll get over it as they have a lot they are doing, and when they catch up, and when we do catch up, it's all good. So you do end up catching up with them, and contacting them, and it comes to an understanding that they're not just ignoring you. I'm just asking. And maybe yes. There's no maybe. What says, what's the maybe part? Why would it be morally wrong? I can ask why wouldn't it be morally wrong, but that doesn't really have too much of an answer. Yeah, they don't skip me because they don't like me. It's because they're busy, and I know that. So, by the way, for everybody else listening, and I'm sure you understand this, but that's called empathy. That is, I'm feeling what they're feeling. I understand the emotions that might happen if I were to go to them and be hurt by that. I understand that. It could be also sympathy in saying that I may not understand what they're feeling, but I understand what they're going through. Like what is the things that's happening to their, like, in their mind. Maybe one is that I might be a problem. You might. Here's the thing. The reason I ask these questions and the reason I ask about morality is because if these things are not morally wrong, then we have to be accountable for ourselves. And this goes, I know that this is, I'm not attempting to harp on streamers that think they're not annoying. This goes both ways. This is a communication platform based on the Twitch chat, where the Twitch chat specifically is a communication platform for the streaming platform. So the reason we talk about morals is because if things are not morally wrong, it is always up to the choice of the receiver and the sender of a message. Those people are making choices to thus move forward in their communication process. If I am hurt by the fact that I have not been responded to, I must understand two things. One, is it purposeful? And two, is it malicious? If the answer is no to the first one, then the answer is probably no to the second one. If the answer is yes to the first one, then you go on to debate what it is that is malicious to you, right? If I'm attempting to ignore you, am I attempting to hurt you? Now, in my experience, the answers to the second question is usually no. Usually, if there is an attempt to be malicious, it's usually active, not passive. In the sense of, if I'm attempting to be malicious towards somebody who is chatting in chat and possibly being a jerk or annoying or what have you, maybe they're being trolly, what have you, usually my response would be, not mine personally, but me as the streamer. I'm just a generic streamer right now. Story of my life. The most common in my experience in this I may be totally wrong here. I will fully admit that. But the response is usually an active one, saying, Dude, why are you being like that? Why are you being such a doofus? Why, like, dude, I'm just trying to do my thing here. Why are you just being a doofus? Huh? Go away, you jerk. No. That's almost always the case if something behind that is malicious. Right? Now, this is based on science. This is based on statistics. In statistics upon a very, very minimal sample, so a not very strong statistic, but this is based on statistics based on experience, right? Essentially. There has been no poll to go ask people. Unfortunately, Twitch doesn't provide a very good way to poll people like this for science, for statistics. It's one of Twitch's biggest downfalls, unfortunately. I really wish they would do something about it, but I don't think they're going to. Also, I respect their choice not to. I don't like it, but I respect their choice because they don't have to do something like that. How much it would help them and how much it's a shame they don't do so, yeah, whatever. It's something we can't really control. But these are questions that would often come up because they're real and they have real repercussions to whatever the answer might be. Right? The person in my chat wanted me to play Fortnite, and I was like, oh, I'm such a big... Oh, wait, sorry. And wanted me to play Fortnite. I was like, oh, I'm such a big fan of yours and want you to play Fortnite. And then I tell them, no. They start going off and being ass. My thought was... I mean, I can give a lesson on communication here, but I don't think that's necessarily the case because really it doesn't really matter at that point. It could be that that person was never going to be satisfied, which is often the case from somebody who just wants you to do something. It could be the case that they don't understand the platform as possibly an on-demand thing in a way that it really is, though. But that's non sequitur anyway. The communication lesson comes down to how is this said? How did you respond and what way? But that's not relevant here. Well, it is relevant, but it's not gonna make any sense. It's gonna detract from the actual lesson. But the bigger point is like, what is the bigger point? I mean, I know the bigger point, but how do I say it properly? It doesn't matter. Let's scratch my head at this one. Is it possible to grow without your audience? Meaning having little to interaction with chat. Anything's possible. So yes, I guess. Anything's possible. Right? Even though it feels super awkward, I get back to messages in chat maybe if I miss them like 10 minutes later. Sure. Yeah. And you know, that may have like exponentially less effectiveness, but if the person's still in there and listening, they may go from, oh, I feel ignored to thanks. That's awesome. That's really cool. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks, dude. Thanks for getting back to me. I appreciate that. Like, truthfully. You know? So, okay, so let's bring you back to so Woo and I were talking earlier about chat interaction and the not the likelihood, because that was never in question, but the, I guess, I guess we were talking about morals at that point. Is it or possibility? We were talking about like actual possibilities in physics, metaphysical circumstances in what it actually means to have a chat, and is it something that is possible or mandatory? And the point that I was trying to make was in chat was it possible and mandatory to be able to do anything with your channel if you didn't interact with your chat, right? With the people in your chat. My immediate response, which I think still stands, is it mandatory? Absolutely not. Is it something that has to happen? Negative. Is there a possible way to grow a channel without ever having talked to or spoken to chat? Yeah. Why not? Is it morally ambiguous? No. Is it morally wrong? No. To ignore your chat? To ignore things happening in your community? No. Can you still grow an audience that way? Absolutely. Absolutely. Not even lurkers. People could be chatting up a storm. And you say you don't respond to any one of them. How many circumstances are out there in which you can actually become a successful streamer? I would say there are infinite amount. Is it something that people do? No. But that also might be a mistake. Because we have this common idea that says you must have this, you must have A, and you must have B, and then you must have C in order to succeed on Twitch. That is precisely the opposite of what my book is all about. And it's exactly the opposite of what all my books will be about, by the way. All 3 of them coming next year. It's not a promise, but I'm working on 3 different books, by the way. I will never tell you that there is a key to success. Anybody that tells you there is a key to success is blowing smoke up your ass. Blowing smoke up your ass. If they tell you that there is one key to success. It'd be much harder, especially for small streamers, to grow and not interact with chat. I also don't believe that. If you do it exactly like everybody else, possibly. More than likely, yes. But if you have a show that is unique and engaging in a different way, engaging in the sense that you don't have to talk to a single person in chat and still make them feel welcome, you have done something few people have done, but not many have done on this platform. And I guarantee something will happen. Either somebody will be interested, or somebody will tell you to go to hell, or somebody and a million other people will watch your channel. If there's a key to success, we'd all be huge. Well, yeah, very true. But the thing is, somebody being successful has already been done. If you can say, hey, you do this exactly like this person has done it, you will be successful. Not necessarily. There's a chance because it's proven to work for somebody. But who's to say that? Why wouldn't I just go watch the person that did it first? Well, because I like this person better. So that's the key right there. That is the key. I like this person better. That is something as important as being different, because that is what makes it different. Why would you like somebody else better if they weren't different? You wouldn't, right? You would like that person better because they have something different there. Whether they're prettier to look at, whatever, that is something still, right? But you have to understand what actually makes the real difference. If there's something that says looks are the real difference, or boobs, mammary glands are the real difference, which is what men have been saying on Twitch for years, that makes the difference between a successful streamer and a non-successful streamer, then you're sadly severely mistaken. You're missing the point. Because we have statistics that shows that's not accurate. For the longest time on Twitch, who were the people that broke 1,000 viewers concurrently whilst Man vs. Game and Spamfish and dozens of other men were streaming for well over 1,000 concurrent viewers? So circa 2015-16. Probably 16. 15-16, but 16 is probably the most important year there. How many? 2016, if you can remember back, if you were on this platform, 2016, how many women streamers could you say were constantly breaking 1,000 concurrent viewers? I can name 2. I'm still friends with them today. How many? The Almighty Bobs, yeah. So the key to success is that there is no key to success? Are you playing with me? Or are you messing with me? Aren't all the top 10 streamers still white dudes? Probably. That's a whole different can of worms, though. Can't name you at the top of my head. So, they may not be super consistent, but back in 2016, it was probably close to... So, Renee would do it every now and then. So, she wasn't consistent, but she would do it every now and then. And Ammunition. Ammunition was probably one of the only ones that would break 1,000 concurrent viewers. Dodger was getting up there, because now she's pretty consistently over 1,000 viewers. And I'm glad that that's changed. But back then, I don't think Dodger was hitting that. She was like 600, 700. She was doing really well. But at that point, no. Yeah, Dex bonus. Yeah. Dodger. Who's Renee? She's not on Twitch anymore. Smash League had come close. Not consistently. She quite often averaged like 600, 700, sure. But that was not, even that wasn't that common. And she didn't even have a camera. So that's an entirely different can of worms. About Pokimane? In 2016, I don't think Pokimane was doing too much in 2016. She's more of a 2018-17 hit. That's when she kind of blew up. And that was about the time where women started to become more popular. I don't know what happened necessarily, but I think it had a lot to do with Fortnite, and a lot to do with a larger number of a younger audience coming to Twitch, which probably helped a little bit. I don't know. But the point is, right? Most keys to success out there today are statistically proven inaccurate and just not even close to being right. So keys to success don't make any sense. There is no key to success. You understand that. What you want to do is find out what works for you. And what that comes down to say is there are things that are popular and there are scientific models that you can follow, but there's nothing that you can follow to a T, right? There's nothing that you can follow to a T that will be accurate in any way, shape, or form. There are practices, which is why you watch the Stream Doctor, which is why you watch the Stream Scene, which is why you read, are there any good resources out there? I don't know. Which is probably why you read stuff like my book, but my book doesn't tell you, like, this is what you should do. It's more like, this is a practice, and this is a practice that you need to shape. This book here is a practice. It's not even a skeleton of what you should be doing. This isn't even like, don't follow these as like, you need to build off of these from like branches of a tree, but to build off of as a philosophy. This is a philosophical book. This is a book that says, these are ideas I need to be thinking about in my conscious and my subconscious in order to put myself in the right mindset to then make my own ideas come to fruition. Right? Am I losing anybody? Please, like, ask some questions if you guys got questions. Like, if you don't have questions, it's fine. I just want to make sure that we're on the right page, because this isn't a classroom, unfortunately. So one of my biggest things in classrooms was I would look at everybody's face. I'm very visual when it comes to communication. I watch people's micro expressions. I watch people's faces. I watch their mouths. I watch their eyes. I watch a lot of ticks that happen based on responses. I don't get to do that here. So I constantly ask, does that make sense? I constantly ask, am I making sense? I constantly ask, do you have any questions? Stuff like that. I'm hiding my face from you on purpose. Wow. Fine. Whatever. Dino crates. So crates. Yes. There's also Stardew Valley, not stereotyping, legit. Just legit lot of girls following in that game. Got a following on that game. Kumatori, do you know who the biggest Stardew Valley streamers are? 2 men. 2 men are the biggest Stardew Valley streamers. And in fact, the ones that trickle after that are probably men too, with some women sprinkled in. Again, a lot of these things are constantly said, and a lot of these things are constantly driven into people's heads, and they're completely inaccurate. It's hard work, sweat, and a lot of hours. Sure. That's a very broad way to say things, but yes, we're trying to figure out what you have to do, because like you can beat your head against the wall for hours. That's pretty hard work. Is it gonna get you anywhere? Probably not. Or is it sheer luck or fate? I mean, you can probably make that argument, but I can probably point you in a direction that says this person put themselves in this position, thus it was not luck or fate. Personally, I don't really believe in luck or fate, so that probably doesn't help. If I believed in luck or fate, I would probably feel a lot worse about myself, because personally, I don't think anything I've gotten and received has been by luck or fate. It's been because I worked for it. Because I know that if I didn't work for it, it would have just gone away. Got to play the game to win. You can't just sit there. It's very true. You cannot just sit there. If you sit there and wait for luck and fate to come at you, you're going to be sitting there until you die. Like that's what happens when preparation meets opportunity. That's probably the most generic common saying that I will get behind, because it's mostly true. 45, Mr. Fody. Yeah, man, I've known that man for a long time, and yeah, that's probably very true. But what happened? So that's actually, yeah, we could talk about that. We can continue on the conversation of evolution of a channel and what it means to be evolving in your career. The reason I threw in career, because even though I think about 99% of people on Twitch are not career streamers, I very much believe that the reason I threw career in that conversation was because it goes beyond your stream, right? It goes beyond just being on stream and doing things on stream. It goes to you putting yourself in a position. If it were luck that brought myself and Fody together, nothing would have happened, because I'm pretty sure that Fody and I thought to ourselves independently that we would never be friends with each other. Not for like any malicious reasons, not for any negative reasons, just like maybe we didn't think we'd meshed well together. I don't know. We met and it took us like 2 years to actually have a conversation. We were around each other, we were together, but we never actually conversed for like years, a couple years. And then we spoke and we played games together, and then it just happened. But because one of us made the step forward to do something, one of us took an action, right? One of us took an action to grow ourselves, right? and to change what we were doing. So that's part of it. And that's part of an evolution is learning what makes you tick and learning what makes you do things to help yourself, to help your channel grow, to help things change, to help all these, whatever. You guys making the action to listen to this auditorily, watch this stream visually, or I don't know, what else can you do? Read a closed captioning transcript of it. You make that decision. By no means do you have to be here. In fact, most of the people on this planet are not here. You're making a decision to be here. Uh-oh. That may be dead. Wes, that may be dead skin cells. Don't. That's probably not good. Don't taste it. That's probably. It's probably not good. Does evolution require sacrifice even to your own morals in order to succeed? Not at all. I don't think I've sacrificed a single moral of mine. In fact, like the moment you start sacrificing morals is kind of the moment you start selling yourself to, you're selling your soul to the devil, which doesn't always end well. In fact, most of the time doesn't end well. So I would say probably not. Please don't. Please, can we put up hey, Adorkableem, can we put up a sign on the stream that says, please don't lick the stream? Just, I'm not pointing anybody out. I'm just saying maybe we should have that there so that people know not to lick the stream. Maybe. But if we have a bunny with a gun to our heads forcing us to watch this, does that count as having to be here? Technically, yes. Technically, yes. But that's not happening, right? Right? There are some successful streamers who are amoral to a fault. Amoral to a fault? Do you mean immoral? Or do you actually mean amoral? Or do you actually mean moral? Caught you mid-lick? Nobody tells me what I can't make. Like, immoral or amoral? You can go either? Well, they have different meanings, so which one do you mean? Talking about somebody who goes immoral to a fault? Well, the moment you're immoral, you're at fault, right? That is the definition of the prefix im. So, can't wait for the stream and taste extension in 2020. What would this stream taste like? We're already like near the end, so we're gonna tangent here for a second. What would this stream taste like? Precisely, Wes, but I don't think, I'm not sure a person can be without morals, can they? Just like a person cannot be without bias? Tastes like mustache. What do you think my mustache tastes like? Cucumbers and mint? Ugh. Ugh. Gross. I like cucumbers. I like mint. I'll tell you right now, for a fact, those do not go together. I know, because I have an entire case of cucumber, mint, lime carbonated water in the fridge that will be there until I throw it out because it's disgusting. Successful streamers with no morals in order to go beyond humanity. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I do apologize. I don't know what that means. To go beyond humanity? No mojitos for Dano? Mojitos are great. Mojitos are great. You don't put a cucumber in a mojito, though, do you? I've never seen one. Sure might taste like a mojito, then. Doesn't sound like a good combo. I thought it did. I thought it sounded like a good combo. That's why I bought it. But it didn't go well. Streamers who will transcend humanity and learn the dark Hadou. Yes. How do I explain it better? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Are you saying like people who... Are you talking about like hurt animals? Or what do you like? What are we talking about? No cucumbers and mojitos. That's what I thought. I mean, maybe you put some in yours. I'm not sure. Sandalwood? Ooh, that'd be great. Are you talking about because like beard combs are made from sandalwood? Sandalwood smells delicious. I would take a bite out of sandalwood. Go beyond the normal acceptable line of morality. Well, in that case, then we're talking about their own morality. But then I guess that would be, then you could talk about immorality being their own morality too. I thought menthol would go well with vanilla and apple pie. There are some successful streamers who are immoral in order to gain advantage over others. Okay. So, okay. So basically abuse of popularity per se, like maybe you start dating somebody that happens to be a lot more popular than you, and maybe you don't actually like them that much, or you end up being with them for a while and you don't love them, but you don't break up with them because they're good for your career. That would probably go under the assumption, that would probably go under the idea of immoral, right? So there are people who do that. Sure, let's pretend that there are. I'm sure there are. I'm just, that for sake of anything, let's pretend that there are. Do you have to do that? No, that is extremely uncommon. Is it something that people do? Probably, but I would say that's extremely uncommon. Is that something you have to do? Obviously not. If it's something that's so uncommon that it does not line up to as many people that are actually successful, I would say that statistics say that that's definitely not true. Gold diggers? I ain't saying she a gold digger. Sandalwood beard shampoo. Such as taking a butt selfie in front of a camera. Is that immoral? I didn't think that was immoral. I think we're understanding morals differently. I guess if we didn't like how your stream tasted, we could go to Martha Stewart and add some chicory, or however that's spelled. Chicory, yeah. Just add butter. Just add butter to it. It's fine. False butt selfies are immortal. Correct. Because they're on the internet and they don't go away. They don't go away ever. If I had a nice butt, y'all'd see so much of it on Twitter, not gonna lie. Amen. Live your best life. That's all I gotta say. But then again, like, that could be immoral to you. Right? We all have our own morals. I think popularly it's not immoral, but again, morals differ from person to person. Taking a butt selfie in front of a camera is against TOS, yet the streamer got away with it, no punishment. Is it against TOS to take a picture in front of a mirror? Was it the stream camera? And was it on stream? Like, as in, like, I'm showing you my butt on stream? If the answer's no, then that doesn't matter. Also, yeah, breaking the rules is not the same as immoral. It's true. Also correct. TOS is not law, right? TOS is not law that requires a lawyer to argue whether or not you're right or wrong. It's just it's a reason that somebody can use to, or it's a reason that the owner of that platform can use to be rid of you. It also, I mean, that sometimes has nothing to do with how the person is successful or not. It just has to do with somebody not taking action where they should. Also, I think that's, yeah, I think that's, I don't know. We're not talking about TOS, but that might be up for debate. What actually, what is considered sexual content? Because if I stand up, turn around, and like, you know, adjust one of these things in the back, and you guys see my butt, my bootay, am I being sexual? I don't know. It's not. That's really not up to me to decide. It's actually up to nobody to decide, except for the platform in which the terms of service are stated on. Truthfully. When it comes down to it, things are put up to sort of a loose precedent, right? If you see somebody that has been punished for specific reasons, you kind of expect everybody to be held under that scrutiny. However, you cannot always just paint that as one incident. There's almost always people who have been banned from this platform have had piles and piles and piles of reports about things that have happened, and this just happened to be the last straw, you know? Is playing safe the reason why streamers don't find success or growth? You're asking questions that really can't be answered. Is it a possibility? Yeah. I mean, almost everything you ask, I've noticed, is the answer is it depends. It depends. It depends. It depends. Do streamers play it safe and are they successful? Yes. Do streamers play it safe and are not successful? Yes. So it depends. It depends. And that goes with everything. So what did we do today? We talked about the evolution of your Twitch channel, sort of. We'll get more into it next week. But we did sort of talk about defining the success. We talked about the definition of what success is, which is whatever you deem it to be. But the importance of doing that comes down to you must know what you want to do. Because if you don't know where you're going to go. However, that doesn't stop you from being successful. It just means that you are going to do something and you have to decide whether or not it is success or not, right? Right? So I want you to sit down and think about and this goes for everybody, even if you're listening to this later, think about what determines your success. I know it's something that has been probably said to you many, many times, or maybe you've heard this from many other streamers, but it's important. Define what success means to you. And then the next things you probably want to talk about and think about, I think I said took about, is finding ways to figure out that success. So we can probably work on a worksheet and a workbook or something that says, hey, these are the things that I see successful in others. You can break those down, and this actually might be a good exercise if you don't know how to define success for yourself. This might be a good way to break it down for others. So find all the things that you see successful in somebody else, right? Don't think about whether or not you think they think it's successful, or whether somebody else thinks it's successful. Think about what you see as success in another person's channel. You don't have to compare yourself. That's not what we're asking here. Not asking you to compare yourself, not asking you to say this is what they do and that's not what I do, or opposite, whatever. Define what their successes are based on an outside perspective. I want you guys to do this only because it seems like we're having a little bit of a trouble in understanding what exactly, I'm not saying anybody specific or anything. We're having a little bit of trouble and I'm trying to understand what it is that makes us successful, because we don't really know. We haven't seen that success ourselves, possibly, right? Personally, my success is when I find myself influencing other influencers. Because I mean, I can say that I probably have influence over non-influencers, but you know, it's a very, very small number of people. It's a small audience, right? And I can call that success, sure. And that is pretty much successful in its own right. But one of my biggest successes is when I put out a book like this, and I don't really promote it that much, but people actually like to see what it is, and they're interested in it. I found that to be pretty successful, and people were very proud of like what they saw, and I was proud of my work, and I was proud that people who I looked up to and respected actually looked forward to seeing it, right? RESPECT, precisely. So, think about what you think might make some others successful, and then break that down into why do I see these things as successful, right? So, this is an example. Here's an example. I see Shroud as successful because he has consistently over 7,000 viewers, right? Whatever. I don't actually know what the number is. And then ask yourself, why is that success? Oh, because it means more subs. Oh, because it means they're seen by this many people. Oh, it means this is whatever. Figure out what that means to yourself, okay? Figure out what that means and how you see it successful, and find the reasons as to what makes it successful, okay? Try that out. Figure out what that means. And then come back and we'll talk about success again. And then we will talk about what sort of goals can you set to develop that. And the professional idea behind them, right? This is professionalism. You don't have to sit there. I'm not asking you, like, unless this is what you do because you're this type of learner. I'm not asking you to sit there and write down these things because you've been told by millions of people that you need to write it down so that you can see every day that that's your goal. No. It's important to clear cut and define these things so that you know what you're striving for. But also understand that those things may change. Things develop, things shape and mold like pizza dough. You got to put the suck in success. Okay, anyway. I'm going to get out of here. We've been on for an hour and a half. We're going to talk more about this next week. So next week, we'll talk more about what it means right, there it is. Next week, we'll talk more about the evolution of your channel and your career. And then we will talk about your homework, which is to define success and success from other people and why you think that is successful. And then we will start to develop why and how these goals can make and break what you do every single day in your career. And we'll talk about the philosophy behind it. We're going to help you become a better professional. Do you trust me? I trust me. Wait, should I trust myself? Yes, trust yourself. Trust in yourself and believe in yourself because you can do it. I know you can. I'm a dork. I hate this. I hate myself. Don't hate yourself, guys. Don't be like me. Believe in yourself. Thanks, Guts. I appreciate it. I feel a lot feel like generalizations because streamers as a whole do not fit in an exact mold. Right, they don't. And well, here's the thing. They kind of do, but remember that anybody that fits a mold does it to themselves, or the person that is watching them that puts them into that mold has done it themselves. Remember that. Take that away. Anything that fits a mold is because you put them there, or they put them there. Somebody did it, and it's important to understand that. Okay? Okay? Can we do that? Can we all think about that? Let's all understand that. There's no such thing as a mold. Break yourself out of it. Break yourself out of it. Break yourself, fool! What's up, Vogfather? How are you? How are you, buddy? Anybody have any questions before we go? I'll stick around as long as we have questions. Be yourself. Treat yourself. Fool. Oh, wait, what? Does anybody have any questions? Any questions whatsoever? Concerns? Gripes? Complaints? Praise? No? Okay. So next week, same time, same place, we will be here. I've got a lot of work to do. I know that, so I'm going to be honest here. I was going to do a special show today, but unfortunately the guests I had lined up were busy, and I mean, it's my fault. I didn't plan well enough in advance. But I kind of improv this one, if you couldn't tell. But we're going to have something very interesting that I think you'll all want to see shortly. We're going to have two guests on that are interesting people in the industry. They're both streamers, yes, but they also do other things within the industry and not just stream. So we're going to have those things come on. Or if those people come on, we're going to talk about something in specifically. Actually, I can actually hint as to what it is. We're going to be talking about engagement. So I know we talked a lot about connection and interaction. That's the word. We talked a lot about interaction. Interaction is literally just one thing doing one thing and they're connecting the other. We're going to talk about engagement, which goes stupid beyond what everybody believes it to be. I guarantee you are missing pieces of what engagement means. I know because I'm missing pieces of what engagement means. We're going to bring two engagement experts on, and we're going to talk about it. Okay? I'd like to register a complaint. Also a dead parrot. Did you kill it? I didn't... What? Always after the praise, the first time in, it was fun. Great Squirrel Army, I appreciate you for being here, and I appreciate the comments that you made today. The dead parrot is a feature. Oh, yes. No bugs. Engaging conversation. Crazy man. What'd I say? Do I have permission to time people out for puns? Can I just time people out just willy-nilly for puns? Alright guys, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for being here. This has been Dan's Stream of Thought every Tuesday. 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, right here on twitch.tv/StreamerSquare. Make sure you're following the channel to find out when we go on next time. Follow us on Twitter at StreamerSquare and check out discord.gg/StreamerSquare. I'm Danotage. I'm Danotage on all platforms: Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, all of it. That is me, Danotage, Danotage. Find me there. I will be live tomorrow morning with more Destiny 2 and Oxygen Not Included. And then, in the evenings, we play a little Minecraft. So, I will see you guys later. Thank you all so much. I appreciate you. And please, have a wonderful rest of your night. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being my friend. Stay positive, play more games, and read more comics. Love you guys. Bye!